one person shouldn't have the authority, the permissions to be able to send a transaction for such a large amount without it having to go to someone else for review, for clarification, for understanding before it's actually processed. So, but if your work culture isn't engaging, and if you're going in office and you're not talking to anyone and that's the norm for your company, I don't see the point of it. Why? You even have people who have zero experience who are starting out who have heard like the help desk isn't the place to be, and so they're immediately rejecting the idea, the thought, or even the position. And it for what? If you don't have any experience, who are you, respectfully? Who are you to say you don't want to do a help desk role? Why?
Yeah, so you had an eventful weekend?
I had a pretty eventful weekend. I would say so, yes.
Really? What? Care to share the details?
Yeah, lots of work. Yesterday was one of my friends, her birthday dinner. Things may or may have not gotten heightened. It may or may not have been a really, really good night. So yeah, I just had a really busy week. All in all, it was just a lot between the jobs and yeah, busy week, busy weekend.
Yeah, same here. I think busy week. Yesterday was pretty cool. We went to Urban Air in Frisco. So chasing a 2 and 3 year old through there is it was a workout. They were still ready to play, but after almost 2 hours, I was like, man, you finna go.
2 hours is a long time to be at Urban Air. 1 hour, I'm like, wow, how far into this hour are we? That is tiring, all the jumping and yeah, but it's fun. They
Yeah,
slept good last night, I'm sure.
they'll be up soon.
Yep.
I think that was a good thing because like the 2 year old, she had started walking late anyway, but she was able to keep up the whole time this time. We go to this place in Prosper called Prosper Playhouse, and it's not like that because all of this is just slides and a little obstacle course thing. But now I'm like, cool, are they good? Like a couple more years, I ain't really got to watch them. I just got to go watch them by the trampoline or something. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Let me wake everybody up.
Something.
Thank you.
Say it again.
You want to talk? I fix that back. Yeah, there we go. I don't even know. I mean, technically, this is the TechTual Talk, but it may turn into his own series. Who knows? Maybe it might be his own YouTube channel one day. But for now, it's gonna be episode 119. So if you're listening in your cars or watching on YouTube, you know what to do. Subscribe to us, and if you're listening, leave us a review. That really helps us out in the podcast algorithm, especially with the downloads. And today we are coming to discuss a lot of topics. I think the first one we want to get into is the deepfakes with the robots. I think that's the first one we want to get into. So it says a deepfake scammer walks off with $25 million and first of its kind AI heist. I'm gonna say all heist. Let me go solo mode. That way Opus Clips could do his thing later on. Okay. So on Sunday, a report from South China Morning Post revealed a significant financial loss suffered by a multinational company, Hong Kong's office, amounting to HK 200 million, which would be 25.6 million in US dollars. Due to a sophisticated scam involving deepfake technology, the scam featured a digital recreated version of the company's chief financial officer, along with other employees who appeared in a video conference call, instructing an employer to transfer funds. Due to an ongoing investigation, Hong Kong police did not release details of which the company was scammed. Okay, here's some more info. So, deepfakes use AI tools to create highly convincing fake videos or audio recordings, posing significant challenges for individuals and organizations to discern real fabricated content. And I'll just go through like some of the high. So the scam initially uncovered following a phishing attempt, like it normally happens with phishing, when the employee and finance department of the company's Hong Kong branch received what seemed to be a phishing message purportedly from company's UK-based chief financial officer instructing them to execute a secret transaction. Despite initial doubts, the employee was convinced enough by the presence of CFO and others in the group video call to make 15 transfers totaling HK 200 million to 5 different Hong Kong bank accounts Officials realized the scam occurred about a week later, prompting a police investigation. All right, let me put you back up here.
My first thought is that why didn't you report it as phishing when you thought it was phishing before you even, and then it being 15 different separate transactions is very strange. I don't understand. They should have asked more questions.
Hindsight is 2020. Dealing with these things before, well, it's not AI, it's just simple. Um, Pretty much what attackers will do is, let's say me and you do business with one another. And so let's say, for instance, they compromise me. Now they may not say nothing for a while, but they're trying to see, okay, what do we talk about? And so they see that me and you do finance in our organizations. So now what they tend to do is wait out. They may make a domain that looks just like mine. So you've been talking to me so much, you don't realize that they've taken me off the thread and they put themselves on the thread with you and acting as if they're me. And to where what they typically do, like they did in this instance, was get them to confirm like the bank amounts and send them to different accounts. But most companies are supposed to have a process about this, especially if it's over a certain amount. And I've dealt with this before. So
Yeah.
the issue always happens on two folds. One, sometimes finance doesn't alert security in like enough time because I didn't know, even though a compromise happened. Sometimes the controls they have on the other end, when it comes to them even knowing they've been compromised, they don't even know. They don't pay attention. Sometimes companies try to alleviate these things with, like, for example, you have external. Every time you talk to somebody external, you'll see that like come through the email external. Wooty woo. There are ways that some platforms may say, hey, you don't talk to the sender. You never talked to the sender before, or something like that. Like something like that, if you pay attention to it, can help you out. I think the real kicker here was the AI stuff. Now, if they ever give us more context, I want to assume that they do something like voice confirmations or something when it comes to this type of stuff. And I say that because I can only see that them being the reason for them using the deepfake AI stuff. Because honestly, you really don't have to use all that to get the money out of people. You could just trick them. And I know on one of the topics you had about movies, or you asked me about Leave the World Behind, which I have not seen yet.
Oh
But
my gosh.
movie I did recently watch that I think you may like is called Heist 88
Hmm.
with what's his name, Courtney B. Vance, the dude that
Hmm.
played O.J. Simpson and all the other stuff. And Heist 88, he's pretty much a sophisticated bank robber. And he finds his nephew. His nephew has friends, and they decide to They decide to steal money from the Chicago. What's the first Chicago bank or something? Because three of the friends working like processing, where they kind of approve like the amounts that CEOs want to transfer to different accounts, and it goes by voice activation. So they study these people's voices to sound just like the CFOs that worked at these companies, and they send them to a bank, I think in Switzerland or something. And by the time that they caught on, was a plot twist, but just in general. But by the time they caught on, it was too late. So we were caught out, of course, social engineering and insider threat. But that's not the stuff. See, when I watch movies, I always think of like what we would do to kind of attack this beforehand. And the funny thing is, during that time in the movie, they were moving away from that to computers because of that risk as well. So that's kind of like their risk acceptance. But it's a really good movie. It didn't get talked about nearly enough, but it's a really
I'm
good
gonna check
movie.
it out. Yeah, so I used to work at the bank, and we all had different combinations to different things. And so one person isn't just able to, hey, I'm about to open up the safe. It don't work like that. And that's what they should have had implemented in that company. One person shouldn't have the authority, the permissions to be able to send a transaction for such a large amount without it having to go to someone else for review, for clarification, for understanding before it's actually processed. So that's my piece there that makes it kind of feel completely insane, because why was one person even able to send such a large amount? Or even when I worked at State Farm, like I only had the ability to process transactions, for a certain amount. If it was over that amount, it had to be approved, and I had to submit supporting documentation essentially to show that I actually do need to process this transaction for this amount. So they should have had controls in place for that, for sure. Dual
You'd
control.
be you would be surprised. That's all I will say. I can't say
No,
too
I'm
much. Be
I'm
surprised.
not too surprised because I also work with customers, so I know that they don't have, most people don't have things implemented as they should. But being that they even have that much money to send, I'm sure now they have a process in place.
Yeah, maybe, maybe not. Let me actually run this. Want to ask for my sponsors real quick, guys, and we will get back to you in a second. Here we go. This video is being brought to you by Leveled Up in Tech. Even if you have no experience in cloud and computing, Level Up in Tech is here to help you get into the cloud. Now, you may be asking yourself, why should I get in the cloud? Well, let me show you. So, a cloud computing engineer can make anywhere from $80,000 to $200,000 per year. While cloud computing will create almost 1 million new job demand for certain skills, one recent study predicted that there will be over 220,000 open cloud computing positions by 2025. Level Up in Tech has a 6-step process to guarantee your success. Here are some reasons why you should choose Level Up in Tech. And here are some of the things you will learn. You'll learn about server config and troubleshooting, the AWS cloud, infrastructure as code, scripting, containerization, and much, much more. You can check out many of their testimonials on their website, and they post testimonials on LinkedIn as well. Here's where some of the former students of Level Up in Tech work at, and articles you can see them in, and hear their coaches. If you're ready to get your cloud career started, click the link in my bio to learn more about Level Up in Tech. All right, now we are back. So one of the other hot topics you had, and I think we both got our own experience with this. Is this it? Companies want you to return to office, but you're the only person on your team in the state. You care to take this one away?
How do I feel? I kind of feel conflicted with this one. I'm gonna be honest, because there is benefit of going to the office and being able to engage in conversation with people. But if your work culture isn't engaging, and if you're going in office and you're not talking to anyone, and that's the norm for your company, I don't see the point of it completely whatsoever. When I was working, actually at AT&T, we had to go into the office a couple of days a week, and we weren't really interacting with each other. So I didn't really think it was beneficial for us to be coming in. But and then on the other hand, like, if people are performing well and the company's doing well, leave people alone. Like, why are we doing that? Why is that a thing? Why do people have to, worry about that and consider that as something that they have to put into, their schedule and come up with the new routine for?
Yeah, I don't think it's something they're actually worried about. To be honest, I really think just one of the things where they want bodies in the seats now. From my experience at JP Morgan, my team was in Ohio. But when I did go into the office, I talked to the people that was immediately around me. So I met my guy DK, who at the time was doing threat modeling. I met I think his name was Trey. He was doing he came from doing DLP for Walmart. So I met some people, but in general, I wasn't just collaborating with them every day. Like, I would come in at 8, I'll leave about 12 p.m., head back home. Because
People are doing too. Like, a lot of people are starting the day in the office and about lunch-ish, or maybe after lunch going home.
It's a term for that too. I forgot exactly what I read it somewhere, but it's a term for that. Because for me, I did it because I didn't want to hit traffic when I get off work. It would take me like
an hour and some
change just to go down the street, and when I would leave on lunch, I get there in like 30 minutes.
Yep. That's how it was for me too. It would take me like 15, 20 minutes to get to work, and then an hour and some change to get home. So I'm not a fan of it. I do see the benefit of it if your work culture is, a culture where y'all actually do interact with each other. Mm-hmm. But if you're just being told to go in because they need to have bodies in the building because they're paying for the building, then companies need to be reconsidering that, because If no one's here, let's say you the only person who do security and you go into the office, like what fun is that gonna be for you, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was like. Now, I think I probably, one, I was just doing that because I was trying to get back home so I could like do some calls or do some work. I wasn't doing a lot of work then. Like I tell people all the time, when I put them 4 weeks in at JP Morgan, they try to make me do more work than I typically did. And I was like, come on, man. I just let me do my time. Just let me do my time and get out. Now, I did get the chance to go to Ohio and collaborate with them more. But yeah, all in all, I think it's cool. Like if you now I'll give you guys what you should do. And this if you like what you're doing. Now, if you like what you're doing and you're the only person there, cool, it doesn't matter. Just be visible somewhere. Try to find who the movers and shakers are and meet them so you have some people to advocate on your behalf. If you want to go to a different department or something else, you can do that. But if that's not what you're trying to do, and just put your head down, then hey, if they're not clocking how long you've been there, badge in and stay there a little bit and go home. Because we use at JP Morgan, well, a lot of financial companies use VDIs. Yeah, for the people that don't know what that is, in layman's terms, let's say you have your own personal computer and you have this application where you can access everything that you need to do for work. It's like a virtual environment. So if you ever use something like VirtualBox or VMware, it's similar like that. It typically runs on Citrix, and it's like you got another computer. It's like you got a laptop at home, but it's on your laptop. So it's pros and cons to that as well. But that's another benefit of just having the VDI and have to worry about ever leaving your laptop home.
Yeah. Count me out. 10 out of 10. Don't want to do it.
And speaking of, I forgot to bring this up. We could take this banner down. Do you have AT&T?
I freaking do. And yes, I was one of the ones who was affected.
I got Verizon.
Wasn't it also Verizon and T-Mobile?
Just T-Mobile and AT&T.
I read it was like 10 other carriers, but they were like not big carriers like, AT&T is.
How
But,
do you know Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, all of them have smaller carriers that use their towers?
Yep. Like it was like, don't get me lying about the names. I can't remember. But yeah, it was more companies. They were just for smaller companies. But I was pretty bummed. I've been with AT&T since I was in like the 5th grade. So I've never had any issues with my service. And actually, I didn't even know about it until I got on social media and seeing other people were talking about it, because I was working that day, with the customer. So I was pretty busy and I wasn't really able to, use my phone like I normally would have. So I got on social media, and then that's when I realized I had the SOS at the top of my phone. And so it was like that all day till like literally like noon. Like right at noon, that's when I started getting like text messages, and my service started going back. So basically I could use my iMessage, like, iMessage is Wi-Fi pretty much. Like I could, anything I can do on Wi-Fi, I still could do. But I had actually left my apartment during that time frame to go get the mail. And when I went outside, that's when it was clear that it wasn't working, because I was trying to text my brother and he has an iPhone. And so I tried to send, like a text message to him, and it wasn't going through. Like, so I was like, oh yeah, I'm one of the people who've been affected.
Yeah, I woke up and I think, was I asleep or something? And I seen it, and I asked my girl, I was like, yo, did your phone go on SOS mode last night? And she was like, yeah. And the whole next day, she couldn't really make calls and stuff until like a certain time in the day. Like I said, I avoided those problems because I pay a little bit more to use Verizon, and it's the time that it worked out for me. Let me see. I'm trying to find. I have a screenshot of it. I'm trying to see the post so I have the context. Oh, I got it. I found the comments. I know you was wondering, what is this keep it cute thing about, man?
Oh yeah, let's talk about
My
it.
last episode, which is my latest episode, is out now. My guy went from finance to software engineering, so he's an iOS developer on there. And I have partnered with Level Up in Tech with their program for a while now, and so occasionally I will do post about, hey, if people want to get into the cloud, join here. And I had 2 people coming on my post saying stupid stuff that we don't normally interact with, and so I was prepared to be petty with them. Actually,
Not prepared.
the next post I think I made, I said, don't come on my. I said something. I don't come on my post doing something. Then you finna get realize you messing with Cat Williams. I said something, but I am very petty. Don't come on my post if you don't only talk to me and try to mess up stuff that has to do with my business that I'm trying to do and help somebody else out. If it ain't what you want to do with your career, you already in, cool.
Keep it
But
pushing.
right, because you have a motive. Both people have their own motives, and one person on that post actually got helped by the people who started the whole program, which is so just weird to me. So I was like, that type of stuff kind of do make me mad. Cause like now I kind of want to see you in person to see like why you playing on my top like that. Cause I don't know you.
Cause keep it cute or put it on mute, boo. Keep it cute or put it on mute. I agree with you though. People just be popping off at the mouth, just wanting to say something, wanting to be that person that has the quote unquote controversy stirring around them. So I do think that you should keep it cute, or you should put it absolutely on mute if you don't have anything good to say or contribute. I can see if it was like a status where you were actually seeking some controversy, with that person, but you weren't. So keep it cute.
Yeah. And a lot of times, sometimes I forget that it's not Twitter, because on Twitter, I'll tell you something different. But so I just like whatever.
What would you say on Twitter?
Probably GOMD or
Yep.
SMD.
Yep.
That's what I probably would say. One of them is a woman who I think is still a very good content creator and doing good in their job. I just didn't like that. Like you came on there being facetious. Oh, what's the price? Shit, schedule a call. You already know the price, and you're over here badgering.
Don't ask me what the price is, and you're a content creator. You know how that go.
I'm like next month, and then that's what it's. Like. Oh, I'm pretty sure you got. I don't have to disclose that. Like, stop lying to these people. I'm like, I'll find a woman to slap you. Don't play with me. It's real. Don't play with me. But it was another post I made. So everybody has tuned in to the video I made last week about, hey, people are lying to you talking about they get you in cybersecurity for 45 days, even hit them with the R. Kelly. That's stupid. Use your common sense.
Yeah, that don't make sense.
Right, but it was
If
a
that
guy.
was the case, don't you think it'd be more people working in the
Thank
field
you.
and less people looking on YouTube and trying to find all these oh Lord, please free us from the shackles of these people that are lying to people who are actually trying to get. It does not work like that. You can't learn something in 45 days and think that you about to be a millionaire. Just it's not. The math isn't mathing.
Right. So this dude right here, he was a part of the problem. Now he was pissing me off too. He was talking about prior to jumping in cybersecurity, you really need to understand that none of the tools work and nobody cares and will blame you for the issues. It is literally one of the worst jobs in IT with extremely high burnout rates. Poisonous product providers and stressed out bosses and teammates. Sure, the money is good, but it comes with a very heavy price. And he ain't even really did anything in cyber.
Do you work in the field?
No, he does not.
Okay. That's what it sounds like. Because that sounds like somebody who either A, hates their job, or B, they don't work in the field. And if you hate your job, then that's on you, not everyone else. And cyber is such a big pool to just say that it sucks in general. Some jobs may suck, depending on who you are, what you like to do, what you find to be boring, what you find to be stimulating. But to put the whole pool and say like the whole field is boring and it's like, be quiet, be quiet.
Yeah, this dude was talking about, he don't even, that's what pissed me off because he doesn't know who I help. And he was like, oh, you're focused on new people getting to the field, not pen testers, white hats. I'm like, pen tester could fall under being a white hat. Anyway, where do you think 99%? And I don't know what he's talking about. Because I want to say, you know what happens when you make an assumption, right? But I didn't say.
You make a what out of yourself? Oh, okay.
What you said is nearly opinionated because you cannot. I meant to say, and sometimes I got a problem with this. I type what I thought I had in my head. But I was like, I think I said you cannot prove everything you initially said.
And that's his experience,
Hold on.
That's your.
I did not really understand your response, to be honest. That said, I have seen a large number of people jump into cyber and get churned through very quickly. Now, this used to be us older people back in the 2000s when a 100-hour work week was the norm. These days, those demands are rightfully too much, and younger people need to understand exactly what they're getting into ahead of time. Like, what's dude talking about? Sure, if you can survive long enough, you show good work ethic and skills, then other opportunities will open up, but that is the same in any field. As for tools not working, I know none of them work. Check out the news anytime. Hop into a sock and see how many alerts are simply ignored because of the overload. When you write for the masses, then you need to address what people must face.
You know how people say it's not in you, it's on you? It's not on you, it's in you. It's not in him, for sure. It's not for you, sir. It's not for you, and that's okay. And that's okay. That's just not for you.
I've been in IT since the early 1990s, first as a neuropsychology researcher, then as an enterprise architect. I ran the division at Honeywell TSI, then modernized Cambridge Associates. Let's see. I have been a portfolio company, CXO, yada yada, for power startups, also mentor startups. I still don't see where he just got this, like the
extensive experience in the actual, like doing something actually cyber focused.
He's not, like, we know what enterprise architecture, they don't necessarily have to be super technical.
Yep.
Because I took the class at UD. So anyway, get off my dick. That's what I could tell him. For real, he had me hot. What? That's why I didn't respond to him too, because I was like, bro, what are you talking about?
I think I'm being nervous for stuff like that because my mouth is, yeah.
What don't people know? Like, for example, let me go back to sharing my thing because people know. Let me show what Brian says. My guy Brian Richer, he actually, and this would be pissing me off because Brian used to be a cop, and he did Love Open Tech, and now he's been working in tech like for a while now. But here it is. He said, one day I'll get enough courage to start a podcast and YouTube channel to tell y'all the truth about the cloud field and some folks on this app, like Henri Davis. Until then, I live vicariously through him. Because people know I don't be caring about all that stupid stuff. I swear I don't. I'm saying you dealing with a person who used to have to deal with getting roasted, wearing glasses and all this other stuff, and I had to learn. So I can do it better than anybody if I want to.
Okay.
Now we have, which one is this one? There we go. So this is your topic. So I want to know, I guess, what prompted this topic.
Because why? Like, why? You even have people who have zero experience who are starting out who have heard like the help desk isn't the place to be, and so they're immediately rejecting the idea, the thought, or even the position. And it for what? If you don't have any experience, who are you, respectfully? Who are you to say you don't want to do a help desk role? Why? Why not? You don't even know how much information that you can learn and gain from doing a help desk role. Now, I will say that historically, we, people of color, it's been more difficult for us to get out of those roles once you are in that role. But that's when, at that point, that's a you thing, and you need to figure out how to pivot out of it and show, what you've learned while you were in that role. But I do think the help desk is a very good starting place for people who are interested in working in the field, because you learn a lot about what users are calling in, some common issues that you can, troubleshoot. I don't like that. I don't like that. Everybody has a job and a purpose. So I don't like that help desk roles get that kind of that shitty, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Don't do it. Don't apply. You're going to get stuck. I don't like that. I don't like it at all.
Most people who say that never worked help desk at all.
Exactly.
Most people.
And when you do work those roles, like, you kind of become, because there's levels and flavors to even, working at the help desk. So you could be learning something that could benefit you when you leave that position. It's just how you go about it,
Yeah. So it's a It's an archaic way of not. I don't want to say thinking, but sometimes I don't tell people they got to start there. I do tell them it can help if they want some experience to get a help desk job if they don't know anything. Like, hey, just get some type of foundation. I've told people in that video and in a couple of videos this year, like, hey, it's 2024 and the market is kind of different. I've told them, hey, get you. Matter of fact, hang on, look, let me do the shameless plug real quick. Where is it? This video is being brought to you by Course Careers. What's going on, guys? If you're looking to start your IT career, then check out the IT course at Course Careers, taught by none other than the great Josh Medical. I'm pretty sure you heard of him. But we all know that it could be pretty pricey getting into IT, and this course is very affordable. And also, if you don't want to pay back those student loans like I have to, then this is the course for you. So check out the Course Careers course. My link will be in the description. Use code TEXTUAL50 in order to get $50 off of your course and get started on your IT career today. All right, had to drop that plug now quick since we talking about help desk. But no, in all actuality, I'm telling people, hey, you may have to get you a feeder role now to go into cyber, because like 2-3 years ago, it was easier. Most people were remote. If you notice, you've seen less and less remote offerings. And now the only way to get remote is if you got elite skill set or you got enough experience to where you would qualify for the remote role. How do I know this? Because I still get remote roles that hit me up all the time. And I have a friend who hasn't been in as long. He always like, man, where's you getting all these remote roles from? I said, I've been in long enough to where most of the roles I apply to or whatever are remote. Now, honestly, for the right price, I would go back to hybrid. It just had to be a job that I like and not too far away, like preferably legacy or headquarters area, or maybe even Addison. But anything past Addison, prior to like going like once a month, would be probably too far for me because it just went.
That commute is a big deal, like especially when you've not been doing it for so long. Like when I first moved to the DFW area, like I was commuting. I would leave work 2 hours before. That's how far I was staying. And I would like have like 45 minutes to, kind of hang out. But on my way home, it was just absolutely insane. And 10 out of 10 would recommend. The commute definitely matters because it plays into like your frustration. You like, oh, I got to get up. I got to get up 2 hours before work, 3 hours, whatever it may be. The commute is a big piece in it for sure, especially for me, because I've experienced it. Like I've driven an hour to work, an hour and some change home. Who wants to do that? Especially if you have had a frustrating day. Who wants to be the person that has to get up and do that? If you've had a frustrating day at work, whether it be a customer, leadership, teammates, whatever it may be, and then you got to drive an hour and a half home in traffic with people who can't drive, you're gonna be mad.
Man, listen, that was me. 2016, moved out here, all happy and stuff, waking up at right before 5, driving down 75 to go to Addison, not knowing why am I going all the way down 380 hitting 75 when I can just hit Dallas North Tollway.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like stages. At first, it was like 380 to 75. It was always a wreck. I was like, if I'm not on 380, if I'm not on 75 by like 6 in the morning, I'm going to be late to work. Then after that, my friend Judy, she was like, yo, son, I take Coit all the way to work because she actually used to work downtown. And like she probably stayed like 5 to 10 minutes from me. At the time I was staying with my aunt and she was staying with her uncle in Frisco. It's like, cool. So I started taking Coit and I was like, hey, I got to be at work closer to 6:30 because at certain times, that's when the school zone start and people start going to school. Then after that, it started getting into, oh, what? The tollway? I can get here in like 10, 15 minutes. Man, I used to leave all times of ways. And like, it'll be times where I wasn't at work, but I would just use UltiPro to clock in before I got to work. So it wasn't like I was late. So I did that for a while. But those commutes are crazy. When I moved up here to Aubrey and Goldman Sachs was like 3 days a week. Oof. And the way that Texas is one of the stupidest places ever. They'll build all the houses, then fix the roads later. When you should just make the roads big enough in the beginning, then add the houses.
Yep.
Because they still working on 380 right now. I know it's hell for people to go to work. Like it would take me 30, 40 minutes just to get to the tollway. Not including getting on the tollway taking me 40, 50, 60 minutes. Like one time I was so tired from being in traffic. I swear to God, this was like when I was on my way out of Goldman Sachs. I pulled over. I don't know if you've ever been to Willow Bend Mall.
Yeah, actually,
I
you
pulled
stay
over to
over
Willow
there.
Bend Mall's parking garage and went to sleep. It took me a nap, woke up, and went into work. Because by that time they don't care. You already gone. Like you just have to stay whatever your time is. I was like,
Yeah.
it is what it is, man. That's how long I was in traffic. I was like, this ain't it. This is not it. What we
Did
got?
did
No, go
Goldman
ahead.
Sachs work you to death like I heard they do?
No, honestly,
Well, actually, I wasn't looking at security roles, so I'll be clear about that.
I will say, I won't say they will work you to death. I will say they're very lean. They don't have as big as a org they are. Their teams are not that big, but they use a lot of automation. Like on our incident management team, it was what 3 or 4 of us at the time. One of them is Crystal. She's actually in that group chat I have us all in. So she's still been doing some incident management there. I mean, incident management is really a fun job. Like I said, you get to learn a lot about all the different departments. You find a lot of different, you make a lot of different connections. And so if you can use that to your advantage, it's pretty good. Because your name, when incidents going on and the stakeholders see your name, you put up a good report and all the different updates. They remember promotions and bonuses should not be hard to get unless the company did not do good. That's just my experience with that. Now, I know you want to talk about gatekeeping, right?
I do.
So you said is gatekeeping an ugly characteristic. And I'll let you give your take on it first. I have a lot of different things that I think about gatekeeping since
Uh,
we are in 2024 now.
I feel I I yes and no. Basically, is it an ugly characteristic? It can be, but some things you should gatekeep. Um, if you think about it in terms of even someone like who's an influencer, of course they're not going to give you the keys to the kingdom, especially if they're very successful. But I do feel like it is important to reach out and help someone else. So I guess it just depends on the scenario for me. But I know that um, a lot of people have probably, if they're trying to get into the field, they've felt like they have encountered or come across someone who is a gatekeeper who don't necessarily want to tell them that you should do this, this, and this, or focus in on this. Like, so I think it just depends on the scenario or the situation. But it is an ugly characteristic if you're looking at it from that way. But I also, in the same breath and sentence, understand that some things you should gatekeep for. You just like, if you give everyone everything that you're working with, and what flavor are you left to have if you're giving it to everyone? So it's tough. It's tough. What do you think?
Funny that you said showing everything. Funny that you said showing them everything you're working with, because they remind me of the old folks talking about the women back in the day. Oh, leave some to the imagination.
Exactly.
But I honestly bring gatekeeping back. Like a lot of the stuff that y'all learned, we should have never told y'all. It should just been left for the people who deserve to know the information. Because y'all did so much. My TikTok, it's not viral to me, but it's did a lot of views. Is I said, hey, y'all finish yourselves out of a job because people was doing too much when they was working from home. Y'all was doing too much. Bring back gate.
Too much.
Why you had to record it? Even if you're not, so if you're not doing C2C or 1099, you really shouldn't be advocating that you got a lot of jobs unless the jobs know about it and it's no compete that you're good and clear about it. If not, like people
And
are doing
let's be clear.
yeah.
People aren't typically doing that.
Oh
Like
yeah.
people, yeah.
Like there was a guy, he had like 3 jobs at one point in time, and he messed up by working one of the jobs at one of the other places. And I was like, bro, just let one go. Like that's the thing too. So a lot of people also have started doing overemployment, and then some of the jobs are just not manageable. You're not at a level yet where you could do 2. I tell people,
Why do you feel like you can do two if you're just starting out? You can barely understand what's required of you from your first job. Now, if we're talking about someone who got years of experience in the game, that's a different thing. But I I just hate I just hate what social media has done to cybersecurity as a field. Like
well,
unrealistic expectations, people thinking that they can get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11 jobs. You
you
can't.
know what? We don't see this that much in cyber. It's more the other. Sometimes you can see them engineering or some of the non-technical roles. You don't see it that much in cyber because they're not going to really advocate it because we know about ethics and all the different things you're not supposed to do.
Literally.
You got different things you can look at that you could do something with. So it's not advertised a lot in cyber. It's just other people, and then other people. Some of them are only able to do it because they are just different. They're anomalies. They can schedule their meetings out, and they don't have any conflicting things, and boom, they're done. They got it done. Everybody can't do it. Everybody will slot the job that they care about the most, and it goes like this. But it's really, people, they want to be stylish. They want to have on the luxury items. I get it. It's a good way to brand yourself. Like
And
I
I'm
told,
not saying don't have multiple jobs. Just be careful what you're doing when you're having those multiple jobs because you could find yourself in trouble if you're not, like you said, the whole compete thing. If you working at your primary job's competitor and they find out,
I doubt like you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't work for somewhere like one of your companies is a vendor for, unless
yep.
they're clear for, because then they'll see your name. That like one time I was contemplating doing something. Like I worked for Optiv at the time, and this company had hit me up for do something with CrowdStrike. Granted, that's because I had this CrowdStrike certification on my resume. And they was like, yeah, we do this. And I know one of the companies we work for is this. I was like, oh no, you ain't finna see my name twice somewhere and be like, hey, what you doing over there? Which hindsight's 2020, they might have just been cool with it with me because I had did so much good work. But you just never know because sometimes your management be hating on you. I'm just gonna leave it like that. What else? But gatekeeping, I think there's a misconception. Like people have given out so much game back in my day when I was coming up, you didn't know this stuff. They wouldn't tell you. You would have to find the information on your own. Like gatekeeping is what they do sometimes with some of the software we have. For example, if I wanted to bring my students in, and I want to show you about an EDR, I want to show you about CrowdStrike or Tanium. I can't necessarily just get a demo of Tanium to show you. I wish. So that's the gatekeeping. That's how it's like, well, how do I get experience? I got experience. How do I learn this stuff and I can't touch it? That's the fights I try to fight. It's like figure out, okay, what type of commercial solution can I help you guys show? And that's why I always tell people to go with Microsoft products because I love Sentinel. You can do Defender for free. You could pretty much do, I think you can even get access to all this stuff, like even access to Microsoft Purview and like some good
At
stuff.
least for 30 days, typically.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things are free and make another email, do it again,
Yeah. So that's the real gatekeeping, not getting access to stuff you should learn how to use so you can get a job and like that you're interested in. That's the real gatekeeping. So
Yeah.
And let me see, did I upload the thing? I thought I did that. Hang on. It's one overlay that I thought I put up here. Is this one? Let's see if it's this one. There we go. All right. So yeah, Change Healthcare was hacked. And let me go to that article briefly real quick. Oh, actually, I can do the one on TechCrunch because I was on TechCrunch last night. Okay. Funny enough, I actually supported Change Healthcare a little while back in the day. That's neither here nor there. But U.S. health tech giant Change Healthcare hit by cyber attack. And let's see. I want to see if it's going to show us what it was, and we got to go back to what happened. Actually, let's check the status page. So on the 21st, some applications are currently unavailable. Optum is currently triaging the issue and will provide further updates if they are available. So typically, legal will let them know if they can tell somebody they had a cyber attack or not. So it's not disclosed yet. Let's see. I say it had a network interruption. I'm trying to find something good on here. I don't want to just bring it up to not bring it up, but I got my own spiel on this of why. I know on the back end well, probably about 3 years ago why this could have happened. I want to say the same now. Let me see. Destiny, you still here?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
I have thoughts about what happened with them for sure.
Okay. They came at outside threat. In the interest of protecting our partners and patients, we took immediate action to disconnect our system to prevent further impact. I know I also saw where they were telling the pharmacies they were still getting hit. So like, hey, don't use
Yep. They were basically saying like disconnect from us until we tell you it's clear.
Yeah, they're one of the large. They're gonna have some openings coming up, guys. Just let you know, the tech giant boasts on this website that it handles 15 billion healthcare transactions a year, and that 1 in 3 U.S. patients' records are touched by our clinical connectivity solutions. That's crazy. In 2022, health insurance giant United Health Group completed its merger of U.S. healthcare. Like that's like people be sleep healthcare tech jobs. That's where you need to be. They
It's
gonna need.
you know what's crazy is that's a niche. That's a
Mhm.
niche. Like I know a couple women who actually work in healthcare, and they've only worked in healthcare, and because of that, they've been able to make a lot of
Oh yeah,
money, a lot, like
facts.
a lot.
One of my episodes I did in the past, she does like electronic health record stuff. And we were supposed to shoot on my birthday, but we're gonna re-up sometime this summer, I guess. And she shows people how they kind of get into that as well. One of my friends, Kim, if you listening, you're gonna come on the show eventually. Stop being so shy. She does cybersecurity for Epic at a hospital in Houston.
Hmm.
But that's funny enough. Crazy. I applied for a job at Baylor Scott and White the other day. No lie. 12:10 p.m. I can show you. At 12:13, it rejected me. I was like, hell no, y'all did not look at my resume.
And
I,
isn't that crazy to you how quick some of these rejections come back for jobs when you know that you are qualified for the role? It's just like what is going on with what your initial check is? Like what do y'all
I don't
have?
think it checked.
Because
I
they're
think,
missing out on good candidates.
yeah, I don't even think it really checked. I just think it's scanning for whatever it believes a keyword is. But
Hmm.
I reached out to somebody on the team and see what they'll say to it because I was like, they're really looking for somebody in the area. I already know how it goes. So that's a good thing too. When you know, like, it's not too many people that got this skill set of X amount of years to do this. And I already know what y'all need because healthcare is like one of the worst places to not necessarily work, but they got the money to spend on the tools, but it's just always so much stuff that's not done, which is why they always need help with it. Change
Yeah.
healthcare. They was like that when one of the people that provides stock services to them they had so much backlog of like just
Work
alerts
that
and
needs
Q
to be
radar
done.
and stuff. It was crazy. Everybody knocked them all out though, but surprisingly, they didn't have anything happen till then. But the company that I used to work with, they were not responsible for that, so that was cool.
What do you think about them having 100 systems impacted or affected? That's a that's a
Maybe
large
more. It's probably gonna come
number.
out to be
That's
more.
probably what 100 times or 100 systems at the time that I read that particular article. But it's healthcare is so scary to me because you have people's lives that are on the line as a result of a breach. Like you just think about ransomware. Think about a situation where your grandparent, mom, dad, kid is needs to go into emergency surgery and they can't because everything is locked. And when I say everything, I mean they can't access the medical records, so the doctors can't tell you when the last time is they had that dose because no one's really working off paper anymore. They're working off. I'm gonna take that back. Most people are not working off of paper anymore. So if I am, the surgeon that's supposed to give the surgery to your loved one, and I can't because I can't validate when the last time they had their medicine. I can't validate what they're allergic to. So we don't want to give them anything because you can tell us, but we need to look into our documentation. I can't open the doors to get to the surgical room. I can't open the medicine cap. Like all of this stuff, people don't even think is being controlled by technology. You have to badge in to get through the door, but you can't get through the door if you have an attack and they've locked everything up and you don't have it's scary. It's very scary if you can't make decisions and be in control of the things that you need to be in control over for your role, especially in a healthcare setting is extremely scary.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. So now we get into the fun stuff a little bit of how I try to get my clients to think. So we just stated a lot of problems here. What happens if we can't get into the building or if the systems are hacked? So now you come into the interview with some solutions like, hey, I know you guys just had a big incident or something like that. I want to ask you guys some questions or what at a high level, what can you tell me that you guys struggle with? And maybe they tell you, maybe they don't. And hey, did y'all guys have y'all disaster recovery plans? Like,
Business
does everybody work at that?
continuity. Yeah,
Can we have access to them? Like, I got a safe over here right now with an IR playing in it, in case nobody can access their systems or nothing. And what happens if people can't badge in? How do
that's
we override?
let's start there. Okay, let's start there. Let's start there. What happens if your employees can't get in? How can they help you run your business? How can they
Let's go a
help?
step further.
Yeah,
What happens if the whole hospital goes down? If you shutting
and
down people's
the
pacemakers and all those monitoring devices, what happens?
yeah, the blood pressure, heart
Mhm.
rate, oxygen. Like,
Shoot, what if
no one ever thinks about those things until either it happens to someone that they love or it happens at their place of employment. But healthcare is not, it's not a game. And you have to think about the liability the hospital or whatever the facility is facing as well, because you have all of these people scheduled for these procedures. You have all of these people in these rooms that you're servicing. And if you were, that's why they pay the ransom. That's why, because they need to save these lives. And if they don't, eh, life or death.
Yeah,
And
I
in
think
security,
that's
when
the
it
hard
comes
part with
to,
the ransom stuff too, though. It's like if we start doing it, everybody gonna do it. It's one of those things where it's like risk acceptance where they're trying. So in cases like this, so here are the use cases when you got for AI or machine learning is for just it is no way possible a hospital can hire like just so many different people. Unless it's like a hospital where so many different hospitals where they're like centralized and they got the big team, they'll have to bring in some machine learning, some AI in. That's what a lot of companies are trying to work on is stuff like that. Shoot, we were talking about deepfakes earlier. Somebody come in with the deepfake of acting like they're somebody relative, say, hey, we want them to pull the plug because they know they finna get a insurance policy or something. Like
no,
it's getting
let's
crazy.
let's talk about the deepfake thing one more time. So, like, do you feel like in the future we are going to have to authenticate to each other? Like using a code or something, a verbal
Yeah.
key, or like that situation just had me thinking about so many things. Like, are we going to have to now figure out how we can verbally authentic? Like, are you going to get a code and I'm going to get the code, and we all need to verify that we got the same code, or something along those lines before we can proceed with this meeting?
Yeah, I think so. It's gonna be interesting because it's like, how do you that's what I'm listening to. I need to follow the money on the companies that are working on spotting people who are using AI to clone somebody's voice. I've brought this up many times, but like, just think about somebody trying to make you mad and act like they was your fiance. Oh, I got your fiance talking to somebody else, and then they clone the voice and they make it sound like
Yeah.
them. But now this comes into okay, this AI don't know my fiance like I do. They're gonna make them say something that you don't normally say.
Yep.
And I only say that because when I'm looking at people's resumes, I say they used AI because it overdoes it. I was like, I
Hmm.
know you don't talk like Ti on a regular basis.
Yep.
So
Yes, yes, yes.
that's
And
what
I
what I
also
know.
feel like with that, I don't when AI first came out, I mean, like ChatGPT, oh man. I'm like I was never thinking negatively about the impacts that AI could have when it first came out. And now that's just something that's always in the back of my head. It's like, unfortunately, like, AI is beautiful. It can be a beautiful thing, but again,
Mhm.
the government has to actually put some things in place for us to make sure that it is able to be a beautiful thing and not an ugly thing.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about kids.
Especially with this whole social media, um, you know,
Well, not even on
what
that.
do we call it? What do we even call it?
Let's get to a foundational level. Kids and just learning stuff is so easy for them now. Me and my girl was talking about. It's like, well, for one, it was that viral clip of that man that's a seventh grade teacher or something like that getting on the students for not knowing their shapes.
That was a black guy.
Yeah.
Yep,
I
yep,
was,
yep.
it was like, how do kids be in middle school not know their shapes? My little girls are 2 and 3. They know some of their shapes or most of their shapes. It's triangle, square. They may not know what a rhombus or they know octagon, pentagon, stuff like that. But how do you go through school not knowing that? How do you? It's another guy on TikTok who's Josh Chucks, he's pretty much illiterate. And I want people to understand being illiterate and not just being like common sense and like still being smart are two different things. You could be a smart person and still be illiterate.
You
He's
definitely
teaching
can.
himself how to read.
They must didn't see Drumline. He was a smart guy. He could play the drums. He couldn't read music. So,
Yeah. Um, and the guy gave his context about it. It's like, I was born into a black family where there's a lot of, what is it called? I forgot what it's called. You can say self-loathing, but it's another word I think starts with a D. I don't know if it's deprecation, if that's it either. But he was talking about they were drunks. They were always associating their identity to what the world told them they should be. And so none of them really knew how to read. And he grew up just going through school, not knowing how to read. And right now, I think he said he reads like an eighth grader. I mean, not eighth grader, 8-year-old through 10-year-old
is that
level.
the guy that's on TikTok reading books?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah. So I was just like, that's just crazy to me. I don't know. Some of these things are crazy to me because I came from a state that's like always dead last in education. But I was always a good reader. Like in middle school, reading on a 12th grade level. When I was, what age was I? We was either third or fourth grade. They start pushing out to us accelerated reading. Hey, you get all these points, you go to the AR party. I never missed going to an AR party because I always had more than enough points to go.
Yeah, my
And
mom was big on reading. Like she didn't like my mom used to make us read books during summer, the summer, and be like, and write me a 1-page summary of what you learned for that. But like, I'm a reader now because of
yeah,
that. Like I read books, so like my mom was always and reading when I was growing up in school was being pushed by my school. Like kids
yeah,
need to read for 30 minutes a day every day, and so my mom took that and she ran with it. Oh, y'all need 30 minutes reading? Well, you're gonna read for an hour,
yeah.
so
That was us. Well, it's one of those things too, right? Like if I show people like our girls' closet, nothing but like a bookshelf of books,
mhm.
and they got all these books they like to read. Where they like to act like they read. They'll take the books like if they're reading.
And they
But
reading the pictures.
yeah, but my mom's a reader.
Hmm.
So we started reading books. Like I used to go through a time in middle school, I was reading about 2, 3 books a week.
Yeah.
I was
Like
hitting that
taking
weird.
on the challenge of reading Harry Potter in elementary school was like you were cool. You was you read Harry Potter, you read that big old book.
Mhm.
And I have
Fun
some
fact,
friends even today in adulthood, they're like, I would never in my life read that book. It's too thick. But you people who don't read don't even understand how reading can be enjoyable and
yeah,
like think about when you're learning.
it's
This is
more
the
descriptive
perfect.
than what you watch on TV.
Yeah, yeah. And even when I was in school getting my master's, right? A lot of people when they're in school they don't read. If you don't read, you will not be able to comprehend and understand the material as quick, especially if you're unfamiliar with the concepts and
Hmm.
the field. Like I knew for sure every chapter I was going to have to read because I was unfamiliar with the industry. I had to read every chapter to actually understand, okay, so this is what they asking me to do in this assignment. So reading is fundamental, and you're always going to have to read things. So yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. So what is the thickest book you've read?
Mm,
I got my answer. It's probably gonna shock you.
I don't. I guess like probably like something along the lines of Harry Potter because they're the thickest
Really?
books that I can think that I've read. The Bible. I don't know.
You wanna know the thickest book I read?
What?
Midnight by Sister Soldier.
Okay, that's the thing. Okay, I've read that too. I've read that too. I've read that too. I'm
And
just trying to
I read
think
it in high
like
school.
I'm just looking at my bookshelf.
And my friend, she was reading
I've
it at
read a
the time
lot of
too.
books. Yeah.
She was like, I couldn't get into. I said, you gotta keep reading. It's about to pick up.
Okay, so wait. Rewind. So before you read Midnight, did you read The Coldest Winter Ever?
No,
You have to read it.
I only read
You have
Midnight.
to read that one.
But you know what? I only read Midnight because it was at the house.
Okay. Well, see, I never wanted. I didn't love Midnight. I didn't hate it, but The Coldest Winter Ever was so insanely good that it made me want to know more about him because he was introduced in that book.
Right.
And so when I read it, I was just like, chapter 1, 2, 3, I'm getting through. I'm like, it's not, it absolutely, they don't hit the same. They got two completely different tones, but it did make me appreciate him more as a character reading that book for sure. But I did read that. Love Sister
Yeah.
Soldier.
I think I think after that I really started I got hooked on Carl Weber hard. So my first Carl Weber book was The Preacher's Son. And I just started got enthralled in that whole universe of it connecting to that and then the family business and the choir, like it. So all
I
those
haven't
things.
read that, but I did start the show for the family business.
The show is okay, but the book is way better because
Okay,
see
so I need to read the book
the
first.
show kind of starts off with some of the stuff you find out like book 2 and 3 versus the foundation is laid in number 1, and they have spin-offs within the universe of stuff that's not in the main books that you learn different things about. Like Paris has her own From Paris for Love, and then Opening Day with Chippy and LC.
Hmm.
But the people they got to kind of play them kind of makes sense. Like that dude that plays LC, I can imagine him. Like, I ain't gonna lie, the audio books is fire for the family business. Like, if you ain't got time to sit, like I did trips where I'm just listening to audio books
I
of like
like
people.
audiobooks, especially because it allows you to still do whatever you got to do a lot. Yeah, I
Yeah.
do, especially like
So that
for
one,
sure, for sure.
what's his name? Thomas Hunter. He writes some good books too. I like his it's a book. I like going back and reading the books that like the black writers wrote in the 90s. So he has this book called The Hearts of Men. And so you can tell it's based in the 90s, based on salaries, cars people are driving, and different things that's happening. It's really good. Those books hold up throughout the years. And that's why I always like to go back and read books. That's why, funny enough, and we're probably gonna end with this, but me and my girl, we watch so many like different shows to where like sometimes we can try to enjoy them, but now we're trying to figure out what's gonna happen next. So the whole time we're watching the freaking Mia Culpa, we're like, okay, some ain't adding up. We like Ray got something to do with this because why is he emphasizing these pains and her representing him? And oh, wait, hold on, have you seen it yet?
I started it. I didn't finish it. I fell asleep. I started it Friday though, but I did fall asleep on it.
Okay, I don't want to. I
I've
don't want to spoil it
I've
for you.
watched a lot of TikToks about it though, and I like Tyler Perry, and we know that sometimes he puts out some things that are a bit questionable for him. But I'm still gonna check it out because I do like to, support Tyler for sure. So
Yeah, man,
I'm actually gonna watch it today.
it's a dude on TikTok that talk like this about basketball. So I'm gonna say it like this: we done with Tyler Perry. He trash.
So you didn't like it. You didn't like it.
No, it
Okay, so
feels like
the reviews were like very mixed. Like you had people who were saying like this is insane. I can't believe it. It was insane. Then I'm getting the vibes that it's like more of an erotic thriller. Then I'm getting the vibes that it's also like another movie that's already out called Addicted. I think that's what it's called.
yeah,
About
it
yeah.
looks like Addicted. It looks like Addicted. It looks like Acrimony.
Yep,
It looks
I
like
heard that too. I heard that too.
um you remember the one he had? I don't know, it's not called When the Boat Breaks, but remember the one where the chick had got divorced and she was friends with this lady and started talking to his son and she had kidnapped people in the basement.
Yes. Yep.
It felt like
Yep.
them three movies. It felt like them three movies to
I
me.
heard that Kelly did a really good job though compared to what the script like which what the script what the story was. Like she did
Yeah,
the
she
best
worked
that
with what
she
she had. I'm not
Yep.
so I think all the actors like a lot of the stuff just wasn't believable. Like the dude who was a painter, that shit was not believable. I was like, this nigga look like he's supposed to be dealing drugs or playing football or something. I've
Yeah,
never seen an
he
artist that buff.
definitely didn't give Painter for sure. He
Right. But
gave yeah.
I was happy that the Latino brothers that they was the ones messing up this time and not black men. I was happy for that. And then the whole time it's like, why she don't get with? I don't know if you got there far enough to know her private investigator. Did you get to see him?
No, I think I was only like 20 minutes in.
You be watching shows like, well, why did she just get with him? Or even being in 20 minutes, like it just was unrealistic because I've never known a woman to let somebody mama talk to them that way. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
I don't
Oh,
care if
I
you
did see
know or
that.
not.
I did see that part. I did see. I'm
Yeah.
like, what's she talking about? Some we decided that it be that you're not gonna like. Who is you?
Right. I don't care if you're gonna be down or not, you'd eventually got slapped.
Yeah. Okay.
Because sometimes you gotta tell folks in-laws, moms, dads, sometimes they be trying to do stuff to you, see if they can trust that you're gonna take care of their
There's
prized position, their
there.
kids,
Yep.
or something. Sometimes they try to test you, and sometimes you gotta put them in their place. And it's either gonna be up and stuck, or they gonna be like, man, hey, I was just trying to, but we old, don't play with me like that. You don't even know me.
Yeah.
But guys, anyways, if there are topics that you guys want us to talk about, please send an email. You can do info@textualconsulting.com. You can send them to Henri Davis at the textualtalk.com. I'm probably going to just set you up with your own domain. That way you can just have an email at Destiny Williams at the textualtalk.com. And yeah, we're planning to do this live next time. So if you're listening right now, be prepared. We're going to try to do this either Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, nights, whenever we're gonna try to get in and work with our schedules. And eventually we're gonna try to do some of these in the studio. So appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Destiny, you got anything you want to say?
No, 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 not really. Connect with me though if you have some questions. Until we get the email up and running. Send me any feedback on LinkedIn. I am Destiny Williams, Destini, and on Instagram I'm Cyber Shorty, Cyber SHORTIEEE, three E's. So connect with your girl. We'll be back sooner than later.
All right. Well, until next time, you know what I always say, let's stay textual and we out. Peace.